Uh, Hello, Melissa. How are you today?
I'm good, Tiffany. How are you?
It's great. It's great to see you again.
It is. It's nice to see you.
You looked a lot more de-stressed than you were last week we met.
Yeah, a bit, I think.
A bit?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go on. I like it if we can pick up to where we left off last week.
Okay.
So if we can start off from there, that would be great.
Okay, so I think last week I was freaking out about school
Mm-hmm.
and all the assignments that we have to do. And I think now it's even more stressful because we're crunching down to the last 2 weeks.
Yes, you have 2 weeks left, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I might look less stressed, but I think it's because I've been trying to catch up on sleep for sure. Because I work a lot and I'm in school. And that's really stressful for me. I'm working 2 jobs and I pretty much work full-time and am a full-time student.
Yeah, and I remember you were also telling me about you would transit from one spot to another because it's so far off with your work.
Oh, yeah, for work. So it's stressful for me in a way that I'm at school until 3 p.m. And then by the time I get home, I only have like 15 minutes before I have to go to work for 6. So commuting is difficult for me as well. It takes me like 2 hours to get here and back.
Yeah.
So, which is nice at the same time because I can sleep and I'm not driving, I'm on a train. So I pass out and snore.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So well, that's good that you've got an idea of some coping skills.
I think I'm just trying to make it work as best I can.
Yeah, then that's perfect.
Yeah.
So with school wrapping up in the next 2 weeks, have you? I know another issue you were having is whether to continue your studies.
Yeah.
Have we put any thought into that yet?
Yeah, actually, I've been talking to my dad about everything, which is weird for me because normally, like, my supports I find elsewhere. But lately, he's just been my number one go-to person, and he's helped, like, even just telling me to write pros and cons lists, which I never thought to do before.
Yes.
And, like, looking at all aspects of everything and, like, paying rent or if I should move with him because right now I'm staying with my mom. And that's a whole other stressful situation.
I know, we spoke about that a bit.
Yeah. But, yeah, I've been looking into moving in with my dad, and I have actually the other day accepted my offer to Lakehead.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks.
Which program is that one?
The Honors Bachelor of Social Work.
Oh, so you, very good. Congratulations.
Yeah. They were offering me, like, better exemptions and better opportunities there than, like, I also got accepted to Laurentian.
Okay.
But they were putting me into first year and only exempting me from, like, some of the courses, whereas Lakehead's giving me exemption right into second year.
Oh, okay.
And that's a lot better for me, I think, because then I'm only committing to, like, 3 or 4 years instead of 5.
Yes. Well, that sounds like some exciting news.
Yeah. Now I just have to worry about money.
I know that's the cry of all students, I think.
Yeah.
Is the financial burden of that, and that's another stressor altogether that we have to look at. But it's great that you got in, and I'm glad to see that you and your dad, because I know that was an issue that we spoke about a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
The relationship was a bit tense between, I think too a lot of it was the distance.
Yeah.
So do you think that that you can work those things out?
I think so. Growing up, I never had that great of a relationship with him because I always saw him kind of as the bad guy, and my mom as the person who was, like, struggling and trying to help in every way that she could. But now I see it kind of opposite in a way because, I mean, I've expressed earlier, but I've been asked to move out of my mom's house because my stepdad wants to get rent. And I can't afford rent with paying tuition and paying to get to school and everything. It's just, like, a huge other stressor, and I can't afford it. So my dad has that's where, like, he's been the biggest support for me. He's like, I don't care. Like, I'll feed you. I'll put a roof over your head. You don't have to worry about that. Like, I just want you to focus on school. And I think that's been really good for me, is to know that I have that because my mom has never really supported me in that way.
So, I think what I'm getting is that this new relationship that you're getting from your dad and the support that you're getting from your dad is really what you need right now.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've been looking for it in other people, and he's just been the one that has actually given it to me. Like, I've been looking for it in my boyfriend, I've been looking for it in friends. My sister has always been a strong support for me, but obviously, like, everybody else has things going on in their lives, and I don't want to bore them with my life decisions, I guess. So to find it in some place else has been nice, and it's nice that it's my dad too to build that relationship.
Well, that's great that I'm getting this positive feedback. So much has transpired since last we spoke.
Yeah.
So this is great to hear, though. So do you want to go into any more of that? I don't know if you want to talk about it as yet, or because I know you currently still live with your mom. So I know on top of that, and then with school, and you know.
I think I just started to realize this lately. I think she kind of likes to lure me back in a way, in a sense. Like, when I first left, like when I was doing my placement last semester, I had left for the first 7 weeks of it, and I was staying with my dad, not only because it was closer, but because they had talked about turning the front of our house into an apartment, and that I would have to start paying rent, and I wasn't okay with that, and I knew that there was going to be a renovations, and I didn't want to worry about that while school was going on. But then obviously money became a factor for me, and like, because so many of my supports, mainly being my job in Schaumburg, where my mom lives, is that it was hard for me to be commuting back and forth. And financially, it just made more sense to stay at home for the time being. And like, right now, I'm not paying rent, but once summer hits, like, they're telling me I need to pay rent. So that's like 2.5 weeks for me, right? So that's stressful. So I picked up a second job, and now that's stressful for me because I am working like 37 hours, I think, this week at one job and 9 hours at my other job, and it's just like, I don't sleep, I don't eat properly, and then to look at it where I'm going to stay with my dad,
It's sort of a
it's kind of like I'm almost
light.
at the finish line. Like,
the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's great to hear that, and so have you put any more thought though into, like, have you discussed it with your mom about your feelings, and because I know to stay with your mom would be, just for the location alone, it'd be a lot more convenient.
It'd be ideal, yeah.
So have you spoken to your mom? Maybe like really sit down, because I know there is a bit of a tension because of your stepdad.
Yeah.
But have you tried to pull her aside and maybe, just try and go into a bit more detail?
I think there was one day, and it's like, the relationship I have with her is that we don't discuss anything to do with him until she's at a breaking point with him. Like, when she's mad at him, then she comes crawling to me and my sister. Whereas if it was the other way around, like if me and my sister were pissed about him and she was happy with him, then she'd just shrug it off and be like, well, like, I don't really care what you have to say. And so the other day he blew up and was like freaking out about the house being a mess and stuff, and like, me and my sister are never home, so it's never our mess, it's just that we're never there to clean up their mess.
Yeah.
And so I got attacked before I had to, in between jobs, I was working both jobs that day, and I came home and she attacked me, being like, you guys don't do anything and I'm trying, and I was just like, well, I just don't care. Like, at this point I'm leaving, and I know that it hurts you and I feel sorry about that, but at the same time I need to do what's best for me, and clearly, like, staying here isn't that. And that being, she emailed me, instead of talking to me in person, she emailed me about charging me cheaper rent for the summer because she thought it was going to help me by staying closer to my jobs. And I've done all the math and everything, comparing it back and forth as per my dad. And it won't help. So I don't really know at this point.
Because I can sense the frustration there. I can sense that feeling of frustration. So, like, how do you think, because I know that you want that relationship with your mom to still be, present.
Yeah.
So, have you thought of any other ways of maybe the communication and keeping that communication?
I think that we clash heads in that way is that like we both feel the same way, but we don't know how to express it without getting angry at each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so like when we actually do try to talk about things, it's just kind of like, well, you said this and like I'm pissed, and I think I feel like resentment towards her because of like, I don't want to say neglect, but like that's the best word I can find right now, is that like I grew up very independently without parental supervision. Like my biggest parental supervision was my brother, who's only 5 years older than me, and he was in grade 12 when I was in like grade 8. So just for things like that, it's just been tough to see her as a parental figure as well.
Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely hearing a lot of the issues, and I'm getting though that you want to work on them, and that you want to, build that connection back with your mom.
Yeah, I think that like I care too much. I think that's my thing.
Well, that's perfect for the field that you're in.
Yeah, I guess in a way.
Yeah, to an extent.
Yeah, I think I just like I'm more worried about hurting other people's feelings than worrying about what I need at that specific moment.
So you remember we also talked about your journal, like you trying to journal some of the things that you were feeling, at the end of the day, or even at that time. Maybe we could also look at some coping strategies.
Yeah.
And maybe jotting down a question, during the day that you might want to bring up to your mom.
Yeah.
So that when you speak to her, there'll be a bit more clarity of exactly what you want to get across.
Yeah, because that's exactly I think what I need to do, because I get so built up and I think of all these things that I want to say, and then when it comes actually down to the point that I need to say, I feel like I sound dumb because I can't get my point across, because I'm just like, ugh.
You're so upset in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is hard, and I know over the sessions that we've had prior, that you do value that connection with your mom, and it makes more sense.
Yeah.
To stay where you're at. So that's why I guess I'm trying for us to put our heads together to try and maybe see if we can find a way where it can work.
Yeah.
I know that your stepdad is also another issue that you're very concerned about, but I do think that we can
I think so.
work.
I mean, like, I do respect her, and I think growing up with her as a single mom for so long, and then we built a really strong relationship, and then as soon as when my stepdad came in the picture, that kind of deteriorated because she had other people's needs to attend to.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I guess it's like a competition almost for her attention.
Yeah.
But I never win, or neither does my sister.
Because your sister's also there also.
Yeah,
right?
my sister doesn't care as much, I don't think,
Mm-hmm.
because she's moved away and she's older and stuff, so she doesn't really feel it like I feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And she always says that too. She's like, I don't have the same relationship as you guys do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's because I've lived with them for so long, I guess. Like I'm the youngest. I'm still living at home. Like I've moved away for in total maybe like a year and a bit. And
you've always been home. You've always had that safety net.
Yeah.
Of being.
And
home.
soon I won't have that safety net anymore.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm just like being pushed out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get to choose.
I definitely, I can see where could be a stressor.
Yeah.
I can definitely, on top of school and all of that.
Yeah, and like that's another thing too, is like I don't really, like I've always been independent, so I don't like to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get booked however many hours at work and I look at my agenda and see like how many other things I need to do on top of go to work. It's just like, when do I have time to sleep and that kind of stuff.
Sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
It does sound like a lot on your plate right now.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I must say, I think you've got a good grasp of exactly what's going on. So we're gonna wrap up for this session, but I would like for us to focus on, because there's so much going on with you right now.
Yeah.
You know, there's this new bond with your dad that, you know, you're coming back into. It's, you know, university life, it's finishing college life, it's, you know, the big move. So I want us, for next week, I want us to try and focus on one of those aspects, and let's try and see if we can get maybe a bit more clarity. Because I could sense that you have a lot to say on it.
Yeah. I could go forever.
So
I'm a stressed person.
But that's what we're going to work on. So we're going to try and gather, well, not homework per se, because I'm sure you have enough homework as it is, but just for next week's session, if you can, we're going to focus on one thing. How's that sound? Does that sound good, or?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think so. Then my brain can actually just focus on one thing.
That would be perfect. So, Melissa, you try and keep up this week and get all your homework and assignments on track, and I'll see you next week.
All right.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Okay.